Satu.
Hi everyone, we're from Group 6 and now we're going to present our group project titled Multilingual Café Signage and its Social Meaning in Tunjungan Street, Surabaya. Next, my name is Sabina Zahra with last 3 digits number 211. For the introduction, language is more than a tool for communication because it also reflects identity, culture, and social values in urban society. With the influence of globalization, multilingual signage has become increasingly common in commercial spaces, such as cafes. Along Tunjungan Street, Surabaya, many cafes combine English with other language, such as Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese, to strengthen their brand image and emphasize cultural authenticity. Therefore, the study examines the social meanings behind these multilingual signs and explore how language is used to represent branding, identity, and globalization in an urban context. Next.
Okay, my name is Ailiyah Mayla Putri with Mayla student number 127. Here I want to explain about the background of urban context. We choose this street Tunjungan because it is one of the Surabaya main centers for food and urban life. People of all ages visit the area to eat, to spend time with the friends, or even a window shopping. With many cafes from Indonesia and restaurant from serve Indonesian food and other countries, uh, we found a banners, a store name sign in a different language, which is it is suit for our research topic on translanguaging. Next, we'll explain by my friends.
Okay, next is method. This study employ a qualitative descriptive approach to examine multilingual cafe sign along Tunjungan Street, Surabaya. Data were collected through direct observation and photographic documentation on 19 April 20 and 26. The collected sign from K3 Mart, Indoya, Komba and Udon were analyzed using the linguistic landscape approach to understand how multilingual design represent cultural identity, branding, and social meaning in an urban context. The research process is therefore the first one is research site in Tunjungan Street, Surabaya. So the second one is data collection with observation, photograph, and field notes. So the third one is research object. Uh, we are use multilingual cafe sign. So the last one is data analysis. We are use language classification. So pattern identification. Uh, Interpretation using linguistic landscape concept. Okay, next.
And then the finding and the analysis. So the observations of multilingual signage along Tunjungan Street shows that English is the dominant language used by cafe and then restaurant, and either independently or in combinations with Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese. And then this pattern indicates that English is strategically employed to reach a broader audience while projecting a modern and national image. And then also this finding supports by Menser et al. At 2023, who found that English dominates commercial signboards because it is associated with modernity, prestige, and economic opportunities. And also Business on Tunjungan Street use English not only to provide informations but also strengthen their global appeal. Next. And then at the same time, business preserve heritage to emphasize the cultural authenticity and build a brand identity. Like Edoya and Udon incorporate a Japanese script. KT Mart features use Hangul and its slogan and store concept, while Chobapo retains Vietnamese lexical items to reinforce its culinary heritage. And then these multilingual elements distinguish each establishment from competitors and create a strong cultural experience for the audience. And this finding is consistent with Artawa et al. In 2023, who argued that a multilingual restaurant signage is serve both informational and symbolic functions. Next. Next.
Okay, the next one is discussion. The findings shows that multilingual cafe signage on Tunjungan Street is used strategically rather than randomly. English appears as the primary language because it's easy to understand, widely recognized, and strongly associated with modernity, prestige, and a global urban image. In commercial area like Tunjungan Street, English helps cafes communicate with a broad audience while also making the business look more contemporary and internationally oriented. And then, at the same time, other foreign languages such as Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese function as secondary elements to highlight cultural identity and authenticity. Scripts such as ramyeon, tempura, udon, and any more connect its cafe to its culinary origin and strengthen its branding. This shows that multilingual signage has two main functions to provide information and create symbolic meanings related to identity, culture, and lifestyle. Overall, the language choice on the signs reflect branding strategies, cultural representation, and the influence of globalization in Surabaya's urban cafes culture. Next.
Okay, so our observation helped us understand that multilingual signs are not only used to give information, but also to show culture, identity, and branding. We learned that English creates a modern image, while languages such as Korean, Japanese, and Vietnamese reflect the cultural background of the businesses. And during the observation, we faced challenges such as crowded cafes and understanding the meaning of some foreign words, but we solved them by revisiting locations and analyzing the context of each site. And overall, this experience changed our view of language and Surabaya. We now see that language in public spaces has many purposes, and we realize that Surabaya is a more multilingual and culturally diverse city than we had thought. Next. And so for the conclusion, the study shows that multilingual cafe signs on Tunjungan Street are used not only to give information but also to support branding and show cultural identity. And English creates a modern image, while Korean, Japanese, and Vietnamese show the cultural background of the businesses. And overall, multilingual signage reflects the influence of globalization and helps businesses attract customers and build their identity. Next. And I think that's all from our group. Thank you.